Go west, young man. This was the call to action that inspired the creation of a United States from sea to shining sea. This was the literal call to arms that led to the bloody native culture displacing westward expansion. Yeah, it's me, your host, T.H. Culhane. Welcome back to CMA. Now look, the explorers Lewis and Clark documented what the ecology of the world west of the Mississippi was like between 1803 and 1806, and found vast carbon-sequestering forests filled with massive tree cereal producing chestnut trees and mighty oaks, forests that the indigenous Americans had cultivated, forests so rich in biota that they literally tripped and stumbled over animals. They encountered immense expanses of deep-rooted perennial grasses on the plains that supported seemingly endless herds of bison and covered a soil so rich and deep that they could bury a man. And they found a Pacific coastline lined with forests of immense sequoia redwood trees, the tallest trees in the world, wider than houses. A coastline whose waters were likewise filled with kelp forests that supported massive populations of fish and shellfish, abalone and sea urchins and sea otters and other marine mammals, and large populations of people, too, who'd kept this balance for hundreds of generations. None of these lands were devoid of human beings. In fact, it was the native peoples who made the natural habitat so rich, fecund, and diverse. A mere century or so later, in the hands of and under the plows of the European settlers, all that was gone. The buffalo were functionally extinct. 90% of the forests chopped down or burned. Sea mammals and mollusks on the verge of extinction. And as for those incredible soils, they were mined into oblivion by a people who paid no attention to science and observation, but only to short-term profit and long-term and deliberate climate change planning based on myths. So much of this, of course, is due to the way we organized and conducted our food production and consumption systems, those amber waves of grain from sea to shining sea. So let's go to Brick Wallace, our man in the field, to find out the solutions.
Thanks, partner. I'm standing here in, well, you know where I am, a place where the stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas, y'all. And that's why we simply have to pull out drawdown solution number 2. Yes, the second most important after HVAC, onshore wind power, which Texas has plenty of. Why these here windmills can reduce 14.1 gigatons CO2 with a net savings of $274.6 billion. And that's big money, Texas-sized money. But life here, home on the range, has other problems. Problems associated with grain and cattle, right, cowboy? And this is where we also need to pull out the drawdown solution ranked number 4. Number 4 in importance, right after refrigeration management, wind turbines, and food waste elimination. And that's adopting a plant-rich diet, which would sequester 66 gigatons of carbon and have all sorts of health and ecological benefits along the way. Now don't get scared, partner. They don't mean giving up y'all's cows and eating soy burgers and some salad bowl-only Green New Deal. They mean creating a biodiversity-rich diet, a diet that enhances ecology as it is grown, instead of degrading it, even as you enhance your personal health. Jelly mold. And if you do want to eat meat, you might consider perennial pasture-grown American bison meat, with the animals also eating a plant-rich diet, a diet rich in different native species of plants. In fact, there is a movement all over the wild, wild west to integrate green energy and to go from cowboy to buffalo. Gals, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight. Come out and dance by the whir of the windmill.
Thanks, Brick. We'll call you. So this module is a deep dive into the ecology of the West, written at a time during the COVID crisis of hindsight is 2020, when a pandemic has shut down everything except climate change, when the land from California through Oregon to Washington and Idaho is ablaze with some of the worst wildfires in history, exacerbated by relentless climate change. Here we will explore what it was like once upon a time in the West and what it has become, in the hopes that we can use that knowledge to one day get off the Texas crude and bring back both the buffalo and the natural abundance that our misguided agricultural policies destroyed, while stabilizing our climate at the same time.